Hey guys, it's Robert from Quick Games here. I wanted to show you a really cool map making utility I found for all you Dungeons Masters out there. If you want to, you're creating your own world, you want to put some map behind it. This is Inkarnate. So you go to inkarnate.com. You can find this. They have it in, it's like a beta sign up right now. It's been in beta, I guess, for a little while, and then they finally came out with a commercial license for it. Anyway, you can go through this button here to do the beta sign up, and then once you do, you have this world's login that you can go to. Um, Brings you to this screen, which allows you to create, edit, delete maps. This is supposed to be like your login to kind of host your maps, that type of thing. And finally, it brings you to this page. So what it gives you, it's a really nice tool set to paint and put maps together. Even if you're not like an artist and you're not, it's not exactly your thing to go down and illustrate something. This will create beautiful maps for you and make it really, really easy to do so. I just want to show you how easy it is to put this together. So they have these different tools on the left here. Your main one to kind of start your project here is going to be the sculpt tool. You can add or remove the different land on there. I have this grid set to, if you look here, I have the grid set to hex. You can use squares as well. I just picked hex to kind of start this off. And then you can go in and pick your shape you want to do. Let's say I want to paint in hexes. Mode is I'm going to maybe add some land to kind of show where my land masses are. We're going to keep this guy in the water over here, but I'm going to drag this around and bring some land. The second tool on here, so once you have your basic land mass created, you can go in and start filling in some of your details. The second tool on here is the brush tool. So if I click that, I can pick some different textures. So maybe what happens if you're closer out to the edges, maybe this is all, beach that you want to kind of paint on your map. The really nice thing about this is, I don't have to spend a lot of time or effort. I can actually maybe do some of the world creation as I'm making this, or I don't have to spend a lot of time effort thinking about, okay, where does everything exactly go? How does it look like? This just turns it and makes it look absolutely beautiful. And then maybe in the middle of our region here, there's a bunch of grasslands because this is the middle of the map. And then maybe I can do maybe some higher uh, plains. Let's pick maybe like a different green. So some of these it was closer to the cities. There's kind of a lush area going on there. Anyway, you get the idea that we can go in and kind of texture your different spaces. Again, I chose the hex shape for my map just to, try it out, make it interesting. You can have, basically just be free form using this circle sculpting tool. Um, or you can paint in, this is the circle one, you can change the size of it. So if I wanted to create something uneven on the side here and have like a coastline, that type of thing, I absolutely could. Or you can go in and you can paint blocks at a time. If I have, I want to work in a squared off style system. Anyway, it looks a little funky now with the two different types on there, but you get the idea. We'll change it back to hex here because we're using our hexes. Let me just kind of fill this out a little bit. This is my, the edge of my landmass. After you're kind of satisfied with how the land masses look, there's some other like really nice pieces in here. I don't have to be an artist to do it, right? I can go in and say, okay, well here are some patterns that I want to use. Let's throw in some hills that I'll have over here. Let's maybe make some larger hills coming up to the side of this. Maybe put some mountains up behind here. So maybe I have this mountain range that kind of cuts through the side here. Maybe the cities is in and around this mountain range. You can start populating, adding some trees to the map. You really see it start coming to life now as you put these different features on the map. Um, you can also import your own. There's ways of kind of bringing in your own pictures into the tool, which is pretty nice. And then this object tool allows me to kind of drop in some cities. There's like these nice um, kind of drawn images to them. So if you want it to kind of look a little bit more, sketched in terms of the map, what it looks like, or they actually have quite a few like really nice, building tiles. I'm gonna maybe scale this one down a little bit. So maybe this is a cathedral that you can go. It's in this plot of ground over here. I can even scale it once it's there, and then what's really nice about this, I can start adding some notes. So like this is, maybe the name of the cathedral. Um, We'll just call it that. So I added on a note. So if I want to, make annotations onto the map, I absolutely could. If I want to actually put the physical names onto things, I can, and it's really great because it allows me to. It has a few different fonts that I can pick from that make it look, pretty nice on the map. So maybe I'll keep it with this first one. Change the font size a little bit. It's going to be, I think bold is a good way of doing it. You can drop a shadow if you want, and then once you're satisfied with what that looks like, you can, maybe name the city after it, or name a place after it. You can start labeling your map and putting the different features, and really, call this place home. Once you start putting, all three of these aspects on, like the the sort of color in the back, kind of build it up and put these different elements on top, maybe add in a few different features like this, your map really starts coming to life. One that's nice thing to do is you can mix the two different styles, right? So if I want to go back through and maybe paint a circle here, and I want to make, let's say there's like a road system that's going in between these two areas, I absolutely could, go in and kind of, draw out this little road that might be coming around this way and come over this area. Now look, I have this nice little like kind of dirt path that people can use, and then there's this path through the hillside here that goes over to this monastery that's going closer to the coast. And then it's just just simple, easy way of putting a map together, make it nice and easy to do so. Add in a few more labels and things you might maybe want to add to the map, that type of thing. Um, it just makes it really easy to put your map together. And when you're all done, there's tools on here. I can title it, put a description onto it, and then save it to my collection for use later. So it gives me, a nice way of interacting with the tool. Anyway, this was just, quick and simple. I sat down, started playing with the tool. Very, very intuitive out of the box. Again, this is the Inkarnate. Um, it's inkarnate.com. Their tool sets for it. I just want to kind of show you some of these maps that other people have come up with. So here's one where, somebody took the time to actually add in you know, do the subtractions out from the edges to add in some of these little islands that are on the edge here. And then they drew in by subtracting out the land masses to put a river and, this thing where there's a lake with the tributaries coming off of it. Somebody's spent a good amount of time making this like look really, really nice. Put their compasses on it. Basically using all the same pieces that come free out of the map maker to name their world. Um, Here's another example. This is Joe Christie's map. This is back in 2015, talking about the map. And what's really nice about this one is he kind of walks you through how he built it. So he built out his land masses first, and then he did some detail work on the outside by cutting his brush size down, making little tiny islands. This is a really good way if you want to have different sizes, right? So like instead of having everything in, really close, you want to do the whole continent. You can do it with this map making utility by going in and doing some of these finer features that way. And then he built up the grasslands for it, and using the different colors, kind of showing the elevation between them. And then when you start putting the mountains and sizing the mountains down to the size, you really get a sense of how vast this area is supposed to be. And then they added in some of these, maybe these are roads that are kind of crisscrossing the countryside. And then once you start kind of cleaning up your features there, going and painting them again, you don't have to be an artist to put this together. That's sort of the beauty of it, where you can go in and maybe just have an idea of what you want to do, and you just kind of want to play around with the tool, that type of thing. It makes it look beautiful, right? You put your map together, and this is really really coming together. And then finally, he added on the different island features and the river system, and finally populated in with the trees on the map. It's really pulling it all together, and that's the sort of final image that came. Basically see here, you add on some landmarks and labels, and there you go. You have something that came out of a J.R.R. Tolkien book, ready to go for your world and how you created it. Just some other examples. This is on our Reddit stream. This is a little bit of an older one. This is a year ago or so. I just found those tools. I'm sharing with you all, and people just did some great jobs putting their worlds and their continents together. If you just search around on Inkarnate images, let's say you're really really lazy, you don't really have any time to build a map whatsoever. There's a lot of these that you can find that are out there on the web. Just search for Inkarnate maps, and you'll find some that people kind of put out there. Pull it into um, your own campaign, your own system. Um, if you like these types of videos, you can find me online, Crick Games LLC on Twitter. Pretty active there. Or you can go to our YouTube channel. You can find us at youtube.crickgames.com. That'll bring you right over to it. Like or subscribe, get some comments and feedback. If you've used this tool and it's interesting for you, maybe drop some links of the things that you're making with it. Share it with the community online. And as always, game on.